record now. So welcome. I'm Abigail Zoger. I'm at Santa Rosa Junior College, and Sunny Galbraith is at Orchard View School. This is our 7th year of doing Climate Action Night. We're very excited. Thank God we've done this before because we've gotten more students than ever before, and I think it's pushing Sunny and I just to the edge of our organizational abilities. The first thing we ask is people, if you could just put your name, rename yourself with your name and where you're from, what school you're at. And then Sunny is going to put in the chat one more time a form. That form allows us, it links you to where you can look up who your state representatives are.
You know what, Abigail, I think we put the wrong form in there. We put the form in from last year. It has Jim Wood on it instead of Chris Rogers.
It also has Bill Dodd instead of Cobble Don.
Okay, hold on. Sunny, I'm gonna need you. Do you want to take over doing the
I'll take over, yeah. So
and I will
give you a
get
different
that
form,
correct.
friends. And so we'll have to put that new form in the agenda and then ask people to fill that out instead. Thank you, Colin, my student, for pointing that out. I saw that, Colin. Thank you. You're awesome. The agenda's also from last year? What?
No.
Oh, no. Oh boy. Okay.
No, the agenda's not from last year.
I might have put the link from the agenda.
Okay.
Maybe that's why okay. Maybe it was my fault here. Hold on.
Okay.
Start over. I did the 2024 because it keeps popping up for me. Okay. Sorry, everybody. We're gonna correct this mistake. My students are very used to me making mistakes. And they all earn stickers when I make the mistakes. Okay, so let me. Okay. Sorry, that was my fault, Abigail.
No,
and then okay. Okay.
All right.
I have
so I can go back to where we were before because I don't have to fix the agenda. All right. So let's zoom back through that. Welcome. There's a form that Sunny is putting in the chat that allows you to find your elected representatives, and we'll get a record of that. So as we target our political action, that'll help us with that. But what I wanted to do now was just show all the students a little slideshow that would show you what is Climate Action Night. And so I'm going to share my screen right now so you can see that and just go over what it is that we do here, what it is you have signed up to participate in. So first of all, as you all know, it's April 24th, which is the week of Earth Day. And it'll take place at Santa Rosa Junior College in the Bertolini Center. And these are photographs from last year. And what we do is student groups from Santa Rosa Junior College, Sonoma State, and local high schools create trifold posters based on climate-related California state legislation and on local, county, and city issues that are related to the climate. And students we give them information, we help them with that, and they create these trifold posters, and members of the public come by, and the students, you will educate them on that issue. And after that, they will go over to our action center, and they will be helped to find their elected representatives and write letters, cards to their state senator, their assembly member, city council, etc. And when they do so, we'll collect those. And then we often have artwork as well that's a message. Last year, it was a banner about active bike infrastructure for the city. We've hung in the city council chambers for several months. But then we'll take those cards and we'll deliver them to our local state assembly members and senators to lobby for this legislation, for these pieces of legislation. And that's an optional piece of the puzzle if people would like to do that. You don't have to do that. Let me stop sharing there. So that's the basic overview of what we're going to be doing. We have a couple of optional bonus things to do. And Sunny, I'll take over putting the agenda in the chat if you will take over talking about some of these bonus options.
Okay, and so if you just copy my last posting
Okay.
of agenda and sign in, those are the correct ones. So apologies. If you were on the 2024 agenda, switch to the 2025 agenda. That has been linked the most recently in the chat, and sign in with that other form. So as you can see, Climate Action Night has a lot of moving parts. It is a fun challenge to for us to juggle all these things. So we appreciate your patience. Okay, what is my part? My part is the fun bonus things. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at the agenda here together. And we will see the fun bonus thing. So these are extras. We have a very exciting thing. We have a well-known artist. He does a lot of activist and kind of protest art, David Solnit. Some of his art has been featured at Climate Action Night before, some of our big flags that we put up at Climate Action Night. He is currently working with an artist from Los Angeles whose home burned down in the recent fires, and they have been making paint from the ashes, and they're creating 2 murals, one in LA and one in Richmond, in support of one of the bills that we are featuring at Climate Action Night, the Make Polluters Pay Climate Superfund. And the message is invest in communities, not fossil fuels. Painted with that special paint. So he's bringing that paint to my school Friday, April 4th, and we are going to create our own, think about what we want to create and create a cloth banner that will hang in Climate Action Night, as well as creating cool cloth patches, small patches that people can earn at Climate Action Night when they visit the different student groups. So at Climate Action Night, people have a little passport, a little one-page thing, and they go around and get stamps. And if they get 7 stamps, they can earn a cool student art created patch. A student at my school has created these. These will be 2 of the patches. And we're seeking other people who would like to create a patch. So see me if you want to create a patch or if you want to come participate in this awesome opportunity on Friday. You don't have to be there the whole time. I know some folks are still in school at that time. You can come later. You can come for an hour. Anyway, if you want to come, sign up here and then tell me the approximate time window that you plan to be there. So that's one fun bonus extra. Another is on Friday, after Abigail went over this in her little slideshow, the Friday after Climate Action Night, we come and we deliver all these awesome postcards that attendees and you all have written to our legislators in their Santa Rosa offices. So if you want to come be part of those lobbying meetings, that would be great. Sign up for that in that sign up. That's a really awesome thing to put in your resume, talk about when you're in interviews. Like I actually went and met with my legislators and I argued for them to support these bills. So if you want to challenge yourself and have something impressive for your resume, come to that. And then one of our partners, Zero Waste Sonoma, they're working with a group and they have free tickets to this thing called the Annual Recycling Update Conference in Oakland on this weekend, March 18th. So if you want to, is that the weekend or maybe that's next week? If you would like free tickets, info there. Okay, I guess I'm the next fun part too. All right, so for this part, you guys really want to listen carefully because we are going to have 2 Kahoot games. Later on, you'll see that on the agenda, 2 different Kahoot games where you can, if you're one of the top 3 winners, which will be very impressive because we have a big Zoom tonight. If you're one of the top winners, you will win a lovely house plant that has been lovingly cultivated by Abigail that you can pick up at Climate Action Night. So pay close attention, friends. And for this, we're going to limit the Kahoot training, the Kahoot game to students rather than mentors. But mentors, you can challenge yourself as well by answering in your head. Okay, so we're going to learn about how to influence state and local government. Because that's what Climate Action Night is all about. We're trying to influence our local and state government to take meaningful action that will reduce greenhouse gases and help us with the climate crisis. So how do we do this? Let's learn. Okay. I gotta go to my next slide. There it is. Okay, so part one, the California legislative process. So this, when you at first glance, looks like the White House, but it is not the White House. This is our California Capitol building in Sacramento. All right, so let's learn about that. The California Senate, state laws. So just like we have national laws, federal laws, we have some laws that are just for California, and we create them with our California, in our California legislature. So proposed laws, we call them bills, are passed by the elected representative and the representatives in the California legislature, and then signed into law, that's the last step, by the governor, if they pass. So how does this happen? And there are this is one type of law that the legislature passes. Another type of law can be passed directly by voters if the organization can gather enough signatures to put it on the ballot. So some of you that have voted before or that have done a school assignment, my students have done this, where they argued about a ballot proposition, that's another way that proposed laws can be passed. And that is, we get to vote directly on them. So we're going to focus on the first type in Climate Action Night. So how does it happen? How does a bill become a law through that first way? So it can either be introduced in the Assembly, the California Assembly, by an assembly member, or the Senate. So look at these fancy rooms, a green room and a red room. These are inside of that fancy building that we saw that looked like the White House. And one of them has all the assembly members. So there's different districts in California, and we elect an assembly member, and there's more assembly members. Senators, there's fewer state senators, but they have districts as well. And when a bill is introduced in one house, if it's introduced in the assembly, it has the letters A, B. If it's introduced in the Senate, it has the letters SB, and then it has some numbers. Okay, so here's the calendar. In January and February, a bill is introduced in the Senate and the Assembly, right? So it gets introduced in one of those places. Then what? Then it goes to a policy committee for hearings and a vote. So this is a bill we featured last year, or maybe the year before, AB 3155, Health Protection Zones for Oil and Gas Wells. And that went then to, after it was introduced, it went to a committee. And people like ourselves can influence the process right here. We can call our senator or assembly member or call directly into the committee hearing and ask them to support or oppose the bill. So this is actually kind of a new thing. You used to have to drive to Sacramento and show up at the committee hearing to voice your opinion. Now you can call in. So we might have some of those opportunities here in the next month or two. And that's it. Well, I guess in this next month, in March, the month we're in. Okay. In May, if a bill passes out of the committee, it goes to the floor of the Assembly or Senate, wherever it started. And this is another place where we can take action. We can get on the phone and urge our assembly member or senator to support the bill. Because then it gets getting voted by all of our assembly members or senators. If the bill passes out of its house of origin, it goes to the other house. So if it starts in the assembly and it passes all the way out, then it's going to go to the Senate. And then it goes through the same process. It has to go through committee hearings in the other body, floor action in the other body. Again, we can call our assembly members or senators and urge them to support the bill. You can also write letters. That's part of what we're going to do at Climate Action Night. People are going to write postcards that we share with our assembly members and senators to ask them to support the bills we're featuring. Then if it passes both the assembly and the Senate, it's going to go to the governor's desk to be signed. Again, we have another chance to influence this. We can call the governor's office and say, we urge you to support this bill, or we urge you to oppose this bill. And these make a lot of difference. All of these calls make a lot of difference because these are elected representatives. And if they hear that people really care about something, that influences how they vote because they want to be elected again. All right. So we have a couple of these featured people here on this picture, and I just realizing right now as I'm doing this, I didn't check in with them, but both of them have bills that we are featuring this year at Climate Action Night. But they, I guess, Woody, they aren't the ones that I have here in on the slide because this is from last year. But Woody and or Doug, are either of you willing to just do a quick little explanation of how the organizations you work with support, help create legislation?
I'd be happy to, Sunny.
Thank
This is
you,
Doug.
Doug.
I'm the executive director for the California Product Stewardship Council. Another one of my staff members is also on, Dr. Joanne Brash. She's on with us as well. She's another mentor this year. So I'm glad to have her on board helping out with this. But what CPSC does, or California Product Stewardship Council, we are in the legislature trying to pass bills. We have 3 that are we're currently working on right now. You'll learn of 2 of them tonight. Well, actually, only one of them tonight, because one's last year's as well. But we try to get the manufacturers of products to take responsibility for the end of life of those products, because what happens is they make the product, they don't care what happens after that. They don't care how expensive it is to get rid of it, to recycle it, if it's recyclable at all. So what we try to do is influence their design by saying, okay, you want to make this thing, you're going to take care of it at the end of life, and then you're going to figure out how to make it, recycle it, or you're going to make it better. You're going to make it more durable, more reusable, more repairable, more recyclable. And so that's our main mission, is to try and drive change for a more sustainable future, and also keep materials back in circular motion.
Awesome. That's great. And so one of the bills, Doug, that your group worked on last year, SB 707, was about textile recycling, like clothing, right?
That's correct. It's the first textile extended producer responsibility bill or law in the entire North America. It is also the second in the world that's mandatory extended producer responsibility. So, and Dr. Brash, who's on with us, she headed up that bill last year. So that's why we did the last minute change. So if the group looked and saw there was a mentor change for that bill, that's because it was much more appropriate for Joanne to take care of that group and mentor them through the next step of the process. Once it becomes a law, then we have to go through the regulations process, which is always fun.
That is so exciting. So this is actually a first for us from Climate Action Night. We're taking a bill we passed the year before and taking it to the next, looking at the next stage, how are regulations enforced and created, which is a very important part of laws. They don't mean anything if you don't enforce them. So there is a group, I'm trying to remember what school got lucky enough to get Joanne is going to work on that. So that's super exciting. And then Doug, you're working, I believe, with the Roseland University Prep, one of their groups, on disposable vapes, like banning disposable vape devices.
That's correct. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. We are working with 3 other environmental organizations. We've teamed up as a co-sponsor of 4 groups to get a bill passed this year that will ban the sale of disposable vaping devices. And we haven't selected the date yet, but that'll be coming out. But it's very important because cigarette butts used to be the most littered item by number in the world, anywhere in the world. Is now getting taken over by disposable vape devices. They're getting thrown on the ground just like the cigarette butts did.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Am I still sharing my screen? No. Thank
Yes.
you, Doug.
Oh, no, it's just you.
Okay. Thank you. And then Woody, your group, actually you're doing 2 groups. You're awesome. You can plug both of them if you want. You're featuring the bill I mentioned that the mural that we're creating is supporting, right?
That's correct. It's called, the official title is Polluters Pay Climate Superfund. But I actually want to, and I will talk about that, but I wanted to start off with a similar thing along the lines of what the bill we worked on last year. And the picture that you put up there, the bill that we worked on last year, SB 233. Long story short, and that was all about getting electric vehicles in the state of California to be bi-directional, meaning not only that you can charge them up, but that you can have the electricity go the other way and feed into a house or something else, or the grid, which is super important. And once you have 8 million electric vehicles on the road by 2030, if you have 8 million electric vehicles and you only take a little bit of power from them, 5, 10%, whatever, when the grid needs it, it's really important in reducing greenhouse gases, because it means you don't have to fire up fossil gas power plants. The bill ended up being passed in a different form. And we are now working on what's called implementation. So we're working on implementation of the bill that was passed. There's also some further follow-up, which is something called a governor's executive order, getting the state of California to get all of the electric vehicles that the state owns. You know, the state of California has a huge fleet of electric vehicles. So getting all those future purchases of them to be bi-directional. So I just wanted to touch on that first, that continuity thing of the work that we've done in previous years. It doesn't just go away, you know, it's laws that get passed, and you can keep tracking them, track the implementation and all that kind of good stuff. So what's happening this year, and yes, there are two, I would like to mentor two teams. The first one is Polluters Pay Climate Superfund, and what that is all about is creating a big fund of billions of dollars that will help pay for things like what? Like climate disasters, like what happened with the wildfires in Southern California and Pacific Palisades. Estimates are $250 billion. That's probably, you know, a conservative estimate for the, you know, cost of those wildfires. And if you're looking for billions of dollars, where might you find those billions of dollars? Well, guess what? The fossil fuel corporations, the oil industry, has been raking in record profits year over year in the multi-billions, tens of billions of dollars, right? And so that's where the billions of dollars are. And so it creates a super fund that's actually, it's not willy-nilly, it's not, you know, seat of the pants. This is based on laws that already exist. There's something called the Federal Toxic Superfund law that requires polluters that pollute with toxics, which are different from fossil fuel pollution, different from greenhouse gas pollution. Toxic Superfund law, and that's been in existence for many, many years. So it's kind of modeled on that, and it gets the oil industries to, it first identifies them, then sort of calculates how much they've contributed to climate, the greenhouse gas emissions in the state, and calculate the damages, and they pay into the fund based on those calculations. And the funds are not just used for in the bill, and these are two bills, SB, there's actually two of them. The process that Sunny outlined, sometimes the strategy is to introduce a similar bill in both houses, the Assembly and the Senate. So there's SB 684 in the Senate, and there's Assembly Bill 1243 in the Assembly. And they're very similar bills, do the same thing. They're written so that the funds can go to helping relieve the communities that are most directly impacted by oil and gas refining or extraction, you know, the drilling and all that, and can also help pay for climate solutions. So things that will help address resiliency or mitigation of the climate crisis, things like that. So it's a very, very like exciting, groundbreaking, phenomenal kind of thing to be working on. It's the kind of thing that the Climate Center, the organization I work for is the Climate Center. I didn't introduce myself at first. Climate Center, and I'm the Phase Out Polluting Fuels Program Director. I love my title. So we work on, as you know, the name would imply, the Climate Center, we work on climate and energy.
My apologies, Woody. We have to give them the Kahoot pretty soon so we can keep this going. So They're
Okay,
gonna have to
I'll wrap
stay
up.
tuned and come to Climate Action Night.
I'll wrap up real quick and just say I am also have been involved since 2019 on with a community-based organization called the Coalition Opposing New Gas Stations, and we are battling what is probably the very last gas station proposal in Sonoma County, because we've succeeded in getting almost all the cities in the county to adopt permanent prohibitions against new gas stations. And we have stopped about 4 or 5 different gas station proposals. So there's only one left. So it's coming up for a hearing on April 10th. So the timing is really interesting and good. So hope to have a great team to work on that one. Thank you.
All right, now for the Kahoot, right, Sunny?
Are we ready? Oh yeah, we're gonna have 2 different Kahoots, right? Are we, I think
Yep.
we're on for the first Kahoot. Okay,
Yes.
and then we're gonna have another little lesson and then another Kahoot. So you'll have 2 chances. So perhaps you have played a Kahoot before. That is exciting. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna put the Kahoot on. Let's see. Sorry, I gotta find it. There it is. Okay, Kahoot number 1. Okay, host live. Okay, classic mode. All right, so you, if you're a student, you can do this through your computer or you can do it on your phone. You're going to go to www.kahoot.it and then you're going to enter the game PIN and use your real name so we can give you a prize if you are one of our winners. I see lots of people joining. So we'll give people a minute or 2 to join.
Meanwhile, I'll just say, if anyone came in late, I've been putting the agenda in the chat and also a form for you to sign in on. That form allows us you to figure out who your elected representatives are, and then we can know how to target our political action a little bit better. So please do fill out that form. I've seen that there's, of the 87 people who are here, 67 have filled out that form, so pretty darn good. We're just going to push you up that one
And probably
last
the
bit.
other 20 filled out the wrong form that I posted earlier. So check and make sure you filled out the right form.
Yeah, here's the right form right here.
Yes. Okay, I'm seeing lots of people sign up for Kahoot. We're take another minute maybe, and then we're going to start our Kahoot.
Thank you, Timon and Angel, for putting the Kahoot pin in the chat.
Oh, that was nice. Thank you, Timon and Angel. Okay, we still have a few people joining here. All right, I'm just about to start. Is everybody?
Everybody's towed up to the starting line to go really fast and get
Okay.
those.
Oh, Caitlin's
prizes.
excited. Okay, I'm gonna wait. Oh, there's a few more sign-ups.
By the way, if you want a preview of the prizes, scroll down to the bottom of the agenda and have a photo of the plants we've propagated.
Oh, and also I think we put it on.
No, it's on the end of my slide.
Oh,
Oh,
here.
there it is.
There it is. Look at those beautiful plants. Oh my gosh. Leaves can be so many different colors. Who knew? Okay, guys, we are gonna start the game. Get ready. First question. True or false? At Climate Action Night, students will present on stage. Students have to present on stage at Climate Action Night. Okay, most people got that right. That is false. You don't have to be on stage at Climate Action Night. It's science fair style. So you're just kind of in front of your board, chatting with people kind of one-on-one or small groups. All right. Let's see. Okay, Orion, congratulations, you're at the top. And we have some other people close behind. Next question. Climate Action Night is happening at the SRJC on this date. What is the date of Climate Action Night? Okay, most people got that right. A few people will be,
Yay!
hopefully now everyone knows and will show up on the right date, April 24th.
We like that.
Okay,
Oh,
got a little reshuffling here. Some people were quick on the draw. All right. Next question. The two houses or parts of the California legislature are the, what do we call these two? Okay, this is a tricky one. They are the Senate and the Assembly. The Senate and the House of Representatives was a good guess. That's what we call them at the federal level, so in Washington. But in California, it's the Senate and the Assembly. Okay, we have some new
Ooh.
people on the board. Okay. A proposed law is called a what? Okay, good job. It's called a bill. Okay. Let's go. I think we only have maybe one or two more questions here. Before a bill reaches the floor of the Senate or House, it must pass out of one or more what? Okay, it must pass out of one or more policy committees. Houses was a good guess. I did use that word a lot. All right.
Alright.
Okay, I think this might be the last one. The last step for a bill to become a law. The California bill to become a law. I should specify.
No, governor.
Signed by the governor. Good job.
Nice.
Lots of people got that one. All right, so
All right.
here are our three winners. Brittany, Madeline,
And
and Amelia. Good job. Yay, winners. Okay, so you at Climate Action Night, the three of you get to come and select a beautiful plant. Hooray. Okay, so I'm going to close that Kahoot. Okay, let's see. Where are we next? I think
well,
we're
I think
oh,
finally I'm supposed to give you a break, Sunny.
yes. Okay.
I feel bad that you've been having to do it all one after the next.
That's
So
okay.
I'm gonna take over and Sunny's gonna take over posting the agenda and the sign-in form in the chat. And I'm gonna share my screen. And
so keep paying attention because there will be another
there's
Kahoot
another Kahoot coming up.
on this. Yes.
And Aura is here as well.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. So I'll do cities and then we'll have Aura do counties. Okay, thank you, Aura. So we wanted to talk about cities and counties, the local level, not the state, but really homegrown. And so just to be clear, counties have a board of supervisors and it's a subdivision of the state. And cities are incorporated. It's a very long and complex process to do that and have a governing council. So what is it that you can do with cities? what can you do to make your sure your city is on track to do everything it should do? And does citizen advocacy and organizing really make a difference? So here's some of the things that you can see that are the purview of cities, like public safety, public works, transportation, land use, and zoning. So city governments control things like elections and tax collection, public health, flood control, sometimes even agriculture, but definitely fire protection. And public works do things like design streets that are safer and more comfortable for pedestrians and bicycles. That's something that is really important for fighting climate change. One, that we have cities that are, you can see this change that Porto Alegre made in Brazil, and Austin, Texas might be in Texas with all that heat, but they've made themselves very bicycle friendly. Public works also can create community centers where residents can cool off for free during heat waves. We have something similar to this here in our town, that fish sculpture. And they can create bioswales for storm runoff and flooding and protect us from floods and loss of water that isn't going into our groundwater. And what can you do to get involved? Well, you can contact the people who are our civil servants, like our city manager or the water resource specialists, or our elected officials like our mayor and the council members, or people who are members of bicycle or pedestrian advisory boards who are helping advise the city.
Come on.
All of those are people who influence the directions that cities take, and they want to respond to the city citizens. And I'll have to say, the number of people in a city represented by city council members is much, much smaller than that represented by your House of Representatives or the governor. So if not, 25 people write letters to your city council member, that's a lot. Writing postcards, emails, or public comments, organizing with groups like with Climate Action Night gives you a bigger impact because there's more of us responding at once. Joining an organization, for example, can help do that. And I wanted to highlight some success stories so that you know what makes a difference. If we want people to walk to school, for example, you have to make it safe for people to walk to school. I will not send a child on a road that has no sidewalk on it and expect that 7-year-old is going to get there okay. So these are things citizens of Santa Rosa petitioned for, this kind of increased safety. And now not only are we reducing the greenhouse gases because you're not driving the kids to school, but you're also making sure that those kids are getting exercised and access to fresh air and a healthier start to life. And that happened between 2016 and 2018. Another success story is one that Woody was talking about. Why are we building gas stations in Sonoma County when electric vehicles are going to overcome gas? We're going to be phasing out gas. So this shows you where different cities, Petaluma was the leader, and then you saw Rona Park, Sebastopol, Santa Rosa, Windsor, and eventually the county. But you can see that Santa Rosa, our city, voted to ban new gas stations in our city limits because of the work that people like Woody were doing with Congas. So the key to all of this, I have to say, is to have fun while you're doing this. Find people you like, do something you care about, make community, and enjoy yourself. Taco Tuesday is a fabulous bike ride every Tuesday down to get to the Matote food park. We'll change direction. And all of those people are showing the city of Santa Rosa that we care about bicycle infrastructure, but they're also having a great time and eating some good food. So remember, this is not a grim task. This is a fun thing for us to do. So that is what about cities. And I want to switch over and turn it over to Aura from North Bay Jobs with Justice, who's going to talk about some of the things you can do about counties. And Aura, you can just share your screen. You don't need to get any special permission.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Aura Aguilar. I'm an organizer with North Bay Jobs with Justice. The sun is shining like so perfectly right now. I'll share my screen in a little bit. I'll just quickly talk about Thank you so much, Abigail. I think I'll just talk a little bit about how we influence policy on the county level. We're a coalition. We're made up of over 30 local organizations and also unions and labor organizations. And so we also have a campaign and that started in 2021. Farm workers have been fighting for better working conditions, better pay. And really it all started around the like evacuations during the fires. So I'll get more into some of the actions that we had. But farm workers essentially, as I'm sure many people here on the Zoom have had experience with evacuating, um, as we were, a lot of people were evacuating and leaving their homes. Farm workers were entering those evacuation zones. And the reason why, they were entering was to harvest wine grapes, which is a luxury crop. That is like what rules Sonoma County. Wine grapes are, as you can see, most of what the landscape is. And so there's a lot of power there. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. But farm workers are really organizing to make their working conditions better and receive a dignified wage. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we've done. But I wanted to first I'll share my screen to share just a little bit about what Sonoma County, like the county looks like, what the county is with the Board of Supervisors. So there are 5 districts in this county. And I'll show you a little bit. I'll show you how you can take a look at like what district you belong to, but there's 5 districts. And so the Board of Supervisors is a group of 5 elected leaders from the different districts in Sonoma County. And they ultimately decide how to manage the public money, which comes to the county from property tax, sales tax fees, grants, federal and state. And so to understand, I'll show you here. It's pretty easily accessible. You can go, I just Googled this, what the Board of Supervisors districts maps is. And then when you click, as soon as you get here, you can click on this interactive map, which shows you where you're at. And you can explore and see what the different districts are. So for example, I put my zip code here and my district supervisor is David Rabbit. So you can see who your district supervisor is on here. So it's cool. You can go and explore the different areas. And then another way that you can see just like the Board of Supervisors has quite a lot of power. And you can see kind of if you want to understand like the jurisdiction that they have over like what is it that they can make decisions on. One thing that's helpful is to explore their website. And just the county website, if you go to the departments and agencies, you can see all of it. And it's quite expansive. It goes anywhere from, if you look at these top ones, the administrative support, anywhere from justice services to the Office of Equity to Health and Human Services. And so when we're thinking about how we're going to make change, what is it? We also had to understand and know that the Board of Supervisors were the ones that were going to make policy on evacuation zones. And that's ultimately how we decided, like, okay, the Board of Supervisors is a target right now, and that's who we have to apply pressure on. We also think a lot about how we have to do what we call like a double strategy. We have to be thinking about the fact that inevitably, the supervisors or a lot of our politicians get money from a lot of the companies that we're trying to hold accountable. And so what's been really helpful is that we apply pressure on the Board of Supervisors while also applying pressure on the industry. So for example, what ended up happening last year is that some companies, by farm workers applying pressure on the industry, some companies implemented hazard pay. And so the Board of Supervisors, that's not something that they had implemented yet. That's not something they had put into the policy. And so we could use the example of like, look, the industry is actually putting this into place. So now the county has to do that. So yeah, and then you can influence the board by attending an action, by emailing, by making public comment during meetings, and doing it multiple times and showing them that things matter to you. And then just talking a little bit, I'll show a video. Let me share my screen again. we've done many actions, so you can see what the kind of actions that we've done. We've done a lot of actions at the Board of Supervisors. So if you can see, I don't know how to make that bigger, sorry. This is an action that we did in 2022 where we were out front of the Board of Supervisors office. We had like farm workers were speaking, there was music, there was joy. Like Abigail was saying, it's like so important to have that like joy in your actions and in your activism. And so we were just applying pressure to the Board of Supervisors, and it was farm workers and also community supporters. And so the biggest thing has been we had also feel free to cut me off. I wasn't paying attention to how long I've been talking. But so one example of like a victory that we've had through the county has been disaster insurance. So something that workers have been pushing since 2021, when the campaign started, was that wineries in Sonoma County have their crop insured. Wineries in Sonoma County, the vineyards, they have their wine grapes insured. If something happens to them, if the smoke affects them, which is a lot of vineyards got destroyed, during the fires, but ultimately those wine grapes are protected. And wineries in Sonoma County receive $63 million in disaster insurance payments. And so who pays for that? All of the taxpayers. And so most farm workers are undocumented and are not able to get public assistance. And so who is able to make that change to the evacuation zone policy? Ultimately, it's the Board of Supervisors, because they make rules about who enters evacuation zones, what it impacts, and what sort of funds and things are attached to it. And so we were really pushing, okay, disaster insurance is a really, really big part of this. And so we had an action. Let me show this. Oh no, that's the video that I was showing. We had an action where we workers made public comment. Workers took the day off of work so that they could be there and be pushing this policy. And so they ended up winning the first of its kind disaster insurance from the county that workers would be able to access. And so it's not enough just to win things. You actually have to make sure that things are followed through on. You have to take action and show the board that you're strong and you're watching them and you're holding them accountable also. And so at the beginning of last year, and I'll show this screen now. At the beginning of last year, we ended up having, hang on, let me stop. I promise I know how to use the internet. At the beginning of last year, people weren't able to, there was not enough money allocated from those funds. They had only allocated $300,000, but workers said that it was not enough. And so they went and did a huge action. All of these workers participated, community support, and showed up, and they were able to make sure that the board voted unanimously to increase it to $1 million. And that was solely from worker pushes. And then I just wanted to show another image of another action, because we've done so many of them at the board level. And we're just in the newspaper all the time.
And we're gonna move on to the next thing.
Thank you. That was it, actually. That was my last
Okay.
one. So
Perfect.
thanks so much.
All right, thank you so much. I wanted to move on, and now very soon you're going to get tested to make sure you were listening to Aura and you were listening to me, so you understand how counties and cities work and can influence. But I think we really appreciate North Bay Jobs with Justice for the work they do to move the work forward to protect the most vulnerable people in our county, who are often hit the hardest by climate change, is really the sad truth. So I want to go to the heart of what you're going to be doing. So this is the nitty gritty of what you're going to be doing moving forward here. So in this, here's the website for Climate Action Night. So you should be able to look at that and get all the information you need. As a video showing you the events. And I'm going to share my screen with you. And when I'm at Climate Action Night, the website, if you're at that website, pardon me while I open it up. If you go to Climate Action Night and you scroll down, you will see that there is for presenters and mentors, so all of the information and dates you need. There's a lot that you need to keep track of, and it's all here. And important links and instructions, we have them all here. In particular, you want to look at this Climate Action Night presentation template. This is sort of your go-to for everything you need to know about Climate Action Night. You're going to be making this trifold board. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to copy this Google slideshow in your group when you work in your group and fill in your names and contact information for you and everyone in your group. And then you're going to look at this list of things you're going to do. There's a flyer here that you can look at, and you want to distribute that and spread that around. You want to find your state and local representatives. And you want to look at this document, the CAN group assignments. So in this document, you're going to have all of everybody and what they're doing. And I am going to put this link in the chat, and you all need to look at this if you want to figure out what you're going to do before the end of today's meeting. So I'm going to put the view only in here. So I'm putting this link in the chat. And if you want to figure out what you're doing today, we've got the name of your group, your mentor, what your topic is, and which students are in that group there. So you'll need that information in just a second. And that can always be found in the presentation template. We have that link, and we have all sorts of information about the bill you've been assigned. You're going to need to work on your slideshows and get a final draft. You'll be doing that with your mentor and your instructor. Then practice and then print that out and make your board. We also, so I'll get to the social media assignment in just a second. Here we have some examples of what this is going to look like. But we have slides. In this slide, put the name of your bill. In this slide, put the co-sponsors. In this slide, put the main points supporting it. And you'll keep on going through one after the next, after the next. And in the end, you'll print those out. And you will put those in, we'll give you a trifold board, and you'll put those together to make that board. So this, again, you can find this template right here on the website, and each student group will make a copy of it and begin working and creating that, and work on that with your mentor and your teacher, who will help you find information to fill that in, print it out, make the board, and practice giving a little elevator speech to speak to people about it. Meanwhile, we have a social media presence. We have an Instagram account, and we have an assignment, and we would like you to post on our Climate Action Night to this. We have a number of options, and we have other prizes for whoever gets the most engagement on their social media post will be the person. We'll have some prizes for them. And it'll allow you to gain, you know, acclaim throughout the universe, whatever it might be, wherever you're going to be. So in the agenda, you'll see that there's the link to that presentation template and the link to the social media information. And very soon we're going to have a Kahoot game. And then after the Kahoot game, we're going to ask you to go into breakout groups with your instructor and your mentor and your fellow students and begin your organization. And you and I know that the most difficult part of anything that you're going to do today is going to be scheduling your meetings with your fellow students. And that will be the most difficult thing to do, is get your schedules all coordinated. So, Sunny, I'm turning over the Kahoot to yourself. Take it away.
Okay. All right, y'all ready for more Kahoot? Whoop, whoop. We're gonna play another Kahoot, another chance to win plants. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. And let's see here. Here we go. Okay. This is Kahoot number 2. Okay, same deal. Let's see here. So we'll have a different pin this time, though. It's loading the, okay, the pin is 4330. Here, I'll put it right in the chat. Pin Kahoot. Pin 433-04-111. And then okay, posted the pin in the chat. Okay, we'll wait just another couple minutes. And Zinzi, I see you signed on here. This game is just for students, not for mentors. I know you had to sign on late because you're in another meeting, so
Sorry. Okay.
that's
I'll just walk
okay.
over.
I love the participating. I'm gonna remove you though. Just wait another moment. And almost there. Okay, I'm gonna start the game, guys. Here we go. This one has a few more questions. I can't remember how many, maybe 7. The group of 5 elected leaders of the Sonoma County government is called, what do we call these people? Okay, the Board of Supervisors. All right, we have people on the board. Next question. You can influence the county government decisions by doing what? All of the above. All of these are good ways to influence your county government. Okay, there we are. True or false? City government has control over how land is used. That is true. All righty. Another quiz question. The Santa Rosa City Council took this action to address the climate crisis. The picture there of the Santa Rosa City Council chambers where they have their meetings. They banned new gas stations. So there was some farm worker ordinance that was happened at the county level. That was a tricky question. Okay, let's put some different people on the board. True or false? Student groups will print out their slides and put them on trifold boards for climate action night. The picture kind of gives it away. That is true. Right. Okay, next question. True or false? Storytelling is an important part of advocating for your cause. And this is a very cool picture of a march that North Bay Jobs with Justice did, where there was a huge woodpecker puppet, because that's the part of the logo and story of North Bay Jobs with Justice. So that is true. Storytelling is very powerful. Okay, Ryan. All right, next one. It's important to incorporate what and what into your activism. Joy and rest. Okay, very good. Okay, I think that might have been the last question. Okay, who is on the podium? Kevin, congratulations. Amelia, congratulations. And Orion Wise, congratulations. And Amelia, I think you won both Kahoots. So we're going to move up the person who was in second place, and maybe the person who was in second place before the last question, and the person who was in third place, because we have a few extra plants. Axel and Orion Hensler, you are also getting plants. Okay, so Orion, and so who was it? Kevin? Oh wait, it tells us the second. Does it tell us more places here? Orion was, I gotta write this down. Amelia, Kevin, Vanessa. All right, Abigail, we may have to figure out some more plants because I also see Vanessa and Ruby on here.
So Vanessa and Ruby, in addition to
Axel and Orion. I'll let you know.
okay, you let me know.
I'll send it out. Okay, I wanted to give, because Amelia had won a plant on the last one. I
Yeah.
wanted to move someone up, and then
Totally.
I promised out some plants, and then I saw that there were some other close winners here. So we'll get y'all we'll get y'all some plants. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see, how do I stop sharing my screen? There we go. All right, so we are coming to the part where I turn off the Kahoot so it stops singing to us. But how do I find it? Where, Abigail, you want to tell us where we are next?
Yes, we are next going to talk about next steps. I can do the next steps, Sunny.
Okay.
So there's some things that you can do next. So I am going to put the agenda in the chat one more time, just in case there's any slim possibility that you have not seen the agenda. Or actually, I'm just going to share my screen with the agenda. That makes it easier, I think. And we are right down here, and we want to go to next steps down at the bottom. So we would like you to promote Climate Action Night, and we have a flyer, and friends and family should know about it. You've all been filling out the form with your state and local representative, and you are going to meet with your mentor and go over assigned bills and topics and how to divvy up the work. And then you're going to start doing this work and make a draft and meet to practice it. Between now and April 24th, social media assignments. Social media, I would like us to have a bigger, I'd like everybody to follow us on Instagram. That would be so wonderful if you could do that. And we post information, and we're going to ask you to post information. If you don't, we have options for you, Colin. So here's what you can do. You can post images and information about your assigned topic. And TikTok, great. That's beyond me, but I'm happy to have it. You're kind of famous over there. That's cool, I guess, for good things only, right? So if you have, you can post to your Instagram account and then tag Climate Action Night, or make it a collab post. Or you can email a post to Ashlyn, our Climate Action Night intern, and she'll post it on our Instagram account. And we'd like you to interact with it once a week. And that's just somebody in your group does that. And again, the most engagement, we have prizes for you. So those are some things to be doing now. Then we also have another option for those of you who would like to, I'm putting in the chat right now. This is a link for those of you who would like to sign up to go the day after Climate Action Night to lobby your elected officials. Put your name down there with your availability. And so if you're for lobbying electeds, one thing I find that's really enjoyable about this is often the staffers are people who have newly graduated from college. So they're kind of more at your age and at your level. And they are an opportunity for you to see what you might do if you have an interest in planning or politics when you finish your college degree and how you make that next jump to that next point in the career. So it ends up being a little bit of a career development as well as an elected official lobbying event. So go ahead and sign up. We give you a script, we give you guidance, we make sure it's really easy and smooth. Everyone's very nice. The elected officials are embarrassingly glad to see people who are in high school and college. So it's not a stressful thing to do at all. They're just happy to see you. So those are some things to do next. And then Sunny, the next thing, I feel like Sunny's been doing so much of the labor today. Let me just explain the breakout groups. So to take that off of you. I have created breakout groups and I am going to open them in just a second. What they have is the name of your school and the bill that you have been signed up for. So you ask, well, how do I know what bill am I signed up for? And the answer is, it's in that link that I gave you of your student groups and assignments. So let me put that in the link one more time. You can find it on the website if you're very slick and clever, but I'm going to put this one more time. This is the group assignments. And you're going to need to look at that and find your name and find the bill that you've been assigned. And your breakout group will be named by that. When you get there, the most important thing for you to do is set up, exchange contact information. And it's begin and schedule your first meeting with all of the students and your mentor and teacher. And scheduling is the single-handedly most difficult thing you will do for all of Climate Action Night, because everyone will have conflicting schedules. So that's what you need to hash out right now.
So don't open them yet because I have a couple of
yes, and I just have to say, Zeke Baker will the Sonoma State team number 1. Just wait there for a moment, and I'll get there, and you'll be without a mentor and without Zeke for 5 minutes, but don't go away. We're coming for you. Zeke had to drop off for a second. So go ahead, Sunny. I think that was that clear. Anybody who doesn't have a question, you can just ask us, of course.
Yes, yeah. Woody said that for that group, the Make Polluters Pay bill, he's going to go to his Congas group first, Congas, and then so just hang out with each other, exchange. There is a place on your slideshow. So here we're gonna open these breakout rooms in a minute. So you don't have to do any, like planning your presentation tonight. You're just exchanging information and maybe talking about when you can get together after spring break and start working on this. And probably you got a lot of information and are totally confused, and that's okay. We got you. Your mentors and your teachers will help you out. So if the presentation template, once you get into your breakout groups, you're going to someone can make a copy of it and share it with everyone in your group. In the second slide, everyone will then enter their name and email. You can decide this later if you want, who's going to do which slide, right? So everyone will do a couple of slides create a couple of these slides, but that doesn't have to be decided tonight. You just need contact group. And then also if there's someone in your group who's up for being the social media manager, put that name there. And Abigail and I will try to pop into breakout groups to say hello and answer questions. The Annalee group, there were a couple of Annalee students who registered late because I think you had the wrong registration link. So if you don't see your name on the, group assignment, pop into the Annalee group that's doing the art presentation with Nell. You can hear about that. And then there was also some back and forth confusion during the meeting with Zinzi about which bill her Roseland University prep group was going to do. I think we're back onto composting now.
No,
We're not
no.
during the meeting?
Just, it's all,
Okay,
I've been
never-
emailing, don't worry about it. We've got that squared away as best we can.
Okay. I also was separately texting with Zinzi. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with that one. So maybe we'll have to figure that out. Okay. So let's see. I think we're ready to open the breakout rooms, and there will be some people absent. And so if there's people that are not there tonight, if you could, there's a link, I'll put it in the chat. It's on the agenda. There's a document called Unable to Attend the Training. So I'm going to say write names of people unable to attend.